Hey sunshines, we are back with another garden tour. Listen, I know it's not the end of July, but I wanted to go ahead and get this garden tour in now, which is like not the middle of July, kind of like the beginning of July, a couple of weeks in July, 2 weeks into July. Anyways, I want to go ahead and get this tour in because there are a few things blooming that I don't want us to miss, and I wanted you to see them all. I'm so excited about the few things that are blooming, and I'm doing a lot of cutting back, so I really needed to get this in because once I start cutting things away, I just keep cutting away. So I just like, let me stop, let me do a video, and then we'll start cutting more things back. Okay, let's get into it. So every time I try to do one of my garden tours, I want to make sure that I start from a different side of the garden. And so the last time we started at the what I call the chicken run, or the chicken, whatever you want to call it, in front of the chicken coop, so like the chicken run garden. So I'm going to start over here in this like part shade, part sun garden. Right now it's shade, and so this is more of the veggie side as well. But the reason I'm stopping over here is because I'm so excited about these blooms that I didn't want us to miss. And so the two hibiscus that I recently potted up in these pots right here are blooming, and the blooms are gorgeous. We got our first bloom yesterday. As you can see, that one over there is going to be getting another bloom. This one over here, hibiscus blooms last one day. So that was the first bloom we got. And so when I saw that bloom, I said, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to get this garden tour going because I don't want us to miss any of these bloom cycles on some of these things. And this is one of the plants that was on my bucket list this year. And so like I told you all before, I have plants that are on my bucket list that I want in my garden, and hibiscus was one of them. I had a hibiscus that was gifted to me, actually two of them, but what I didn't know, and I tried to put them in the ground, and what I know now that I didn't know then is the reason why they didn't last is because they were tropical hibiscus. And so tropical hibiscus for me, because I'm in the state of Massachusetts, zone 6B, tropical hibiscus, they die. They don't come back every year. But this is a hardy hibiscus, and so this will come back from me every year. And what I like to do with some of my plants is put them in pots. And so I kind of like threw this area together, not gonna lie, right before my son's graduation. And I wanted to just get them something over here. I used to have this table over here, but I went ahead and moved that. And now that they like their spot, what I might do, I don't know if I'm gonna do it this year, but I will take them out of their pot and I will put them in the ground over here, and then, you know, fix this area up some more. But that's what we have blooming in this area. This is sweet potato, and then we're getting our first bloom of our zinnias. This entire bed is full of zinnia plants, and I can't wait to cut them and bring them inside. I like bringing zinnias inside, and I just think they're beautiful flowers. And so we'll see how they come. I don't know the name of the variety. So, and then this bed right here that is now empty was a potato bed, and I dug up all the potatoes and I made sure I covered the soil using some of the hay from the goats bedding. It's important to keep your soil covered because without keeping your soil covered, you can deplete the nutrients that you built up over the growing season. You know, all of the composting I've done in the different beds, and then adding fertilizer and things like that to get good growth out of all these plants. You don't want the sun hitting it all day and depleting it. So make sure you cover your beds. I don't have any plans for this bed right now, so this is why I went ahead and stuck the hay in. And if I do change my mind because I don't want to see the bed empty too long, I can always pull the hay back and do whatever I want. And so then we have this garden bed right here, and look at our sunflower just growing up. This is the bed that I just threw like a packet of mixed seeds in. So it has sunflower, there was zinnia, we have allium, nasturtiums, and so we have all that growing in that bed. So we're getting some flowers. There's flowers down in there. Flowers, we're getting some flowers. This back here is the bed that has the hydrangeas that I purchased. They are the bloom struck hydrangeas, and those particular plants will get 4x4, and so I think they'll be okay staying there for a little while. I might have to eventually pull them out, but I actually like their placement and they seem to love it. They've been blooming a lot, and as you can see, there are plenty of new blooms on these plants, so they like that spot. This big circle bed right here is a bed that has squash plants in it, and as you can see, it's just vining everywhere. I went ahead and attached it over here to this. I think it looks so cute. Don't mind that bucket. I went ahead and attached it to the door, and hopefully I can get it to grow up and over and whatever. Along with these sweet potato vines, I'm directing them to kind of trellis up behind these hibiscus plants on this little fencing thing that I have here. So I think that would be pretty once that all kind of fills in. And then this tower is doing good. And so this tower right here is, this tower has strawberries and nasturtiums in it. And so there's still blooms. It's been really hot. Nasturtiums don't like the heat that much. I don't get many strawberries, but I do just like the whole structure of it. Okay, so let's come back out and around. And then, oh, Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown, see, you almost missed your camera debut because you're over there bothering those goats. That's what Mr. Brown is doing, stepping on one of my plants. Just so y'all know, he's here, stepping on one of my plants so that he can bother those goats. This bed right here has some type of beans in it. I think it is cowpeas actually in that bed. This bed right here has lima beans, and we have tons of marigold plants that are going to be blooming soon. And so these are the tall ones. I forgot the variety, but they're tall. That bed right there, this also has squash plants, and so you can see that whole section is just vining, full of vines from different types of squashes. I have spaghetti squash, and there's some squashes under there too. Spaghetti squash. What else do we have? We have regular butternut squash, and then another squash I can't remember. That is a nice tomato plant growing back there. Right here in this bed is lettuce that we're not eating, and arugula we're not eating. I pick that and I throw it over to the chickens actually because we're not eating those. And then back here is a bed that I keep covered to try my best to avoid the cabbage moth, but it's been in there. But I still cover that bed. But that is full of cabbages and Brussels sprouts and cauliflower and collard greens. This bed right here is full of green beans. And I've been picking these like crazy. I was just out here yesterday picking, and as you can see, we will be picking some soon. This is a plant that I love. It's like, I don't know the name of this one, unfortunately. I was going to try to tag everything before I did this garden tour, but once again, the excitement of the blooms. But this attracts a lot of bees. I think this has been here for about maybe 2 years. 2 garden seasons. We've been on this property since 2021. So we just turned 3 years in July, so it's probably been here 2. This is a celery bed. This right here, once again, we have marigolds, and this is Swiss chard. Back here we have collard greens, some marigolds. I put marigolds everywhere. These are 2 mums that were on the wall garden, as I call it, that were just tall, and I just didn't like them up there. I didn't cut them back, and so what I did was I just put them here for a holding place, and that is such a great idea. If you don't know where you want plants, even if you have them in the containers you purchase them in, just go ahead and put them in some type of holding place, or up pot them from the small, container you got them in at the store, to just give them more room to grow. So I just put them here for now. I'll leave them here until I figure out where I want to put them, along with a tomato plant. My willow trees seem to be doing fine. These are my dappled willow trees, and they are growing, and you can see all the new growth on them. So I don't know when I'm going to get in there and cut them back. Probably not into the fall. I'm going to make sure I do some more research on, cutting them back and things like that. But they are growing. And so I'm excited about that. What else do we have over here? The hydrangeas are doing wonderful in these pots. It has been really hot, so I've been giving them extra water. And so, but they have tons of new blooms, and the blooms are doing great. The flowers are doing great, and they have tons of new buds, I should say. And then right here on this wall, I forget about this planter, but it's just a little planter that I think is so cute that I attached to the side of the shed. And I just put some little baby hostas in there. That's a nasturtium and some sedum. And so they just, they give it a little cute touch. Over here we have another hydrangea that's doing good in the pot. And so I love flanking. This is my second year flanking this area with hydrangeas. And what I do is I put them in the ground after. So you'll see I have a lot of containers that have perennials in them. And what I'll do in the fall, or at the at the end of in the fall, at the end of summer, is I'll put them inside of the landscape. This right here is just some petunias that is nice and bright. I got these on a clearance, and I put them in here. They've been thriving. We just had a bunch of rain, so I had to pick a bunch off. Once again, we have the holding station. We already talked about where those plants are going. These plants are for a different project, and we'll talk about that again soon. So moving along in the veggie garden, it is a jungle out here, as I like to say. And in this jungle, we have eggplant, we have peppers, and I'm not going to go through all of them. We have eggplants, peppers, we have marigolds, we have tomatoes, we have cilantro. So it is a jungle over here. When you get over here on this side, this vining plant right here, this is watermelon, and we have watermelons in here. There goes one right there. This pot right here is full of mint and lemon balm, and once again marigolds, and then we have parsley. So that is the veggie garden. And then on the hill garden, remember, it's mixed with veggies and flowers. In my last video, I told you all about the plan for this hill garden and the separation I was going to do between the vegetables and the flowers. A semi-separation, because I do have some herbs in here that come back every year, so I don't know if I'm going to move them yet. But over here we have this rose, and it's been blooming its head off. I just planted this up this year. And so, Mr. Brown, sorry, come on. I just planted 4 roses in this hillside bed this year. And so, sorry if I was yelling in you all's ear. And so this is by far one of my fave roses. And it has put on a lot of growth, and I think it gets 4 by 4. But once again, this area right here looks like this because of this pumpkin vine. And so this pumpkin vine, we gotta eventually do something with it. Over here is that same plant I just talked about over there that I'm not sure of the exact name of, but it attracts so many bees. As you can see, that bee is eating. Ooh, he's going from place to place. Just don't come over here. He don't want me anyways. And so the recent change over here is I had hosta plants around this little pedestal, and it's been so hot. This area on this hill garden gets full sun basically all day, and I mean hardcore sun, and those plants were burning. But these plants, this is Russian sage, it was over there in my other kind of my shade garden, but the side that's part sun, they weren't getting enough sun, and so they were actually dying. As you can see, I almost lost this one. And so what I did was I transferred the Russian sage here, and I moved the hostas over there. I switched places basically. And so they look pitiful right now, but I'm hoping they're going to bounce back. They still have life in them. And so, like I said, I just did that transfer, and once again, it's just so hot. But we got a lot of rain the other day, so I'm just going to continue to keep an eye on them. There goes some sedum, and I'm going to touch this up and do what I need to do to this area. So all back here on this hill garden right here, This right here, I dug up from somebody else's property, and I did, I forgot to tag it. And I have these beautiful tags that I haven't yet to use yet that I am planning on using, or using a little tag just to tag in there. So when I do garden tours, I'll know something about what I'm talking about. There goes some lamium. I leave that there because I'll come and dig it out and move it to other areas. So it's kind of like hidden over here, although I don't mind it growing along the fence to keep some of the weeds out. But that's there. And then this right here is a spirea. That's one of my newest ones, and it's put on a lot of growth. Look at this little bee. There's tons of bees in this plant. This is why I love this plant. Tons of bees. Okay, let's not disturb them. Okay, and here are some herbs. I keep herbs in here. This is rosemary, thyme, and oregano. And then, of course, we have some marigolds that are going to be blooming soon. As I make my way up in here, there goes another rose. This one blooms pink. This is a pink bloomer, and it has plenty of buds, so it's going to be blooming again. This right here is my Artemisia. I think that's it. And I really like this plant. I love the texture. I love how it feels. It's so soft, but I don't like the location. I'm going to be moving these because as you all can see, I keep saying hill garden. It's an actual hill. And because it's an actual hill, when it rains and the water comes and the wind blows, you see all of these plants, although it's growing in the middle, they get laid down and then they have a hole in them. And so I'm thinking about finding a place to level them off. This is my Weigelia. This is the first plant that I've ever put in this area. It was a tiny, tiny baby. I love it. When it blooms, it's beautiful. I'll try to insert a picture. I'll try to remember, but it blooms these beautiful pink blooms when it does bloom. And I'm going to be, cutting that back and rounding it off. I don't mind the height at all, but I try to, try to keep it tame a little bit. When we continue to walk up here, and right now we're beside this pumpkin plant, and there goes that pumpkin. We have one pumpkin. We have like little babies, but that is the biggest pumpkin. We have another one of those white roses that I love, and as you can see, it's putting on mega growth. I just planted this like not that long ago, and so I'm gonna let these continue to grow, and in the fall I'll prune them back and shape them and do whatever I want. And then we have our hydrangea. This is my very first hydrangea that I had planted up in this landscape, and this is its second year. Last year had a couple of, was just put in the ground, but this right here has been blooming like crazy, and a lot of the blooms are spent and I need to cut it away, but as you can see, more blooms are coming in. And what I do like is that I'm not just getting one color, and this is why I need to cut the Weigelia so it doesn't interfere with the growth or anything of my hydrangea. Don't bother. As much as I love the Weigelia, I love the hydrangea. I love you all both. So we just got to cut those branches like that is what I'll cut back. But it's been blooming pink and purple, as you all can see. Pink, purple. I think that is pretty doggone cool. And it's so nice. Then up here, this is eggplant and more marigolds. And then I have 2 rows of Sharon plants. I have 2, and they're growing, and they got plenty of buds on them. And when they do bloom, they bloom little pink flowers. Oh, here's a tag for that. That's what they look like, and they're super pretty. So this is my Baptisia. I put this in for the first time this year. Never had Baptisia. Never had a few of these plants. The sun, like I said, if you guys have any ideas, let me know. From what I understand, I can cut them back right now. It's just so hot. This one is doing pretty good. This one looks like it got burnt to crisp. I'm like, is there a hornworm? Because when I look at stuff like this, I'm like, is there a hornworm or something? I don't know if I should just cut it back and don't worry about it. Give me some ideas. So I'm all the way up the hill. So let me turn around. We haven't talked about everything, so I just want to turn around. This right here is a peony, and I know peonies die back. And so, like I said, it's been really hot. This stick is actually no good. I don't know if that's a part of the dying back process, because that's another first with this particular plant. And then we have more, plenty of hostas. Because at first I wanted it to be hosta hill, but I think a lot of the hostas are going to be taken out. This one is gorgeous, but look, this is the good, the bad, the ugly of gardening. Look at my hostas. So that one's going to have to be moved. And what I think I'm going to do is, because I can get more, I need to get more hardier sun-loving plants up here. And so I might have to take them all out, even though that one over there seems to be fine. Now let's talk about this on the hill. Oh my gosh, these are the blooms I didn't want you all to miss again. And now we have several open blooms. This is the dahlia that I got at a plant sale, and it looks pink on camera, but it's a dark purple, and it's just gorgeous, and I'm so happy I got it. I got 2 of them, and those are blooming, and the blooms are just, they make me so happy. I literally, this is where I sit for the most part, in this rocking chair right here. That's one of my seating areas, and I just look down over here. This is our wall garden on this side, and we have hostas that are doing fine. We have some speedwell, more hostas. We have some yarrow, more hosta, and then Williams, Sweet Williams. I didn't know the name of that plant the other day when I was talking about it, but that plant, and I'll get closer, that plant is Sweet William. Okay. And as I step down this hill, and I'll turn you all back around, we have some salvia, this deep dark purple. It's been growing. It was like 1 stem when I put it in the ground. I got it from some flower shop, and it's just gorgeous. We have another rose. This is the pink I was talking about, that it blooms that pink, and it's gorgeous. And I'm gonna have to cut that back and do some deadheading that I just did the other day. But these roses have loved their spot, and they've just been doing great. This is a type of bleeding heart. I cut this back, and they all came back, little sweethearts. This is a lavender. It's doing great. No, is that lavender? Yeah, that is. If I'm wrong, I'll say it, but I think it's lavender. These are sedums. The sedums are doing good, and these are the not delphinium. The oh my gosh, I said it the other day, and I know what it is, but delphinium. No, not delphinium. Whatever. We'll come back to it. But we put these in, and we had a lot of blooms, but the blooms are gone on that particular one up there. But yeah, so it's doing great. So I'm trying not for this not to be so long. And then we have these beautiful daylilies that are blooming, and you know they last a day, but they are gorgeous. At the top I have of the wall, they're orange, and then down here they're yellow. Didn't plan that out, but that's how it worked. Then we have this beautiful coreopsis that is just, oh my gosh, it gives so much. I recently, this is another coreopsis. I love, this is like one of my faves. I recently cut back the bees balm. If you remember in the last video, I had tall bees balm in this area. There was like 3 patches of it, and I recently cut it back. And so now I'm gonna it's starting to grow back, but I'm also thinking about dropping some zinnia seeds, because I did have zinnias, but unfortunately they're not there. I only have 1, and then this got eaten up. So yeah, then we have some sedum down here. We have some little button flowers. There goes some speedwell over there, some lamium. These are the lilies that have all, you know, bloomed gorgeously and gone. This right here is salvia that I recently cut back. I'm going to have to do a part 2. I don't want this video to be too long. This is a rose, and when it was in bloom, it was beautiful. I'll try to remember to put a picture up. of that. Then we have our wall garden. We have some more sweet William. We have hostas and lilies. In here we have some asters that are going to be blooming soon. More sedum, spirea. Right here, some salvia I cut back. Our black eye Susie. Oh, Susan, Susie, whatever you want to call her, it is blooming. In here, I also have some monarch daisy that I'm thinking about pulling out and moving. It's huge, and I think I want to either dig it up and divide it or just move it to a whole nother area so it can just do its thing. And I'll tell y'all where I'm thinking about moving that to. And so right here, we have some blooms. We have some more salvia. All the way in the back, let me see if I can step over there. Oh, it's gonna grow really, really tall. That is, oh my gosh. It's not amaranth. Yes, it is amaranth. That's what that is back there. And I planted those from seed. And so they're gonna get really tall. We have some sedum, and this is dianthus. That's what was over there that I was trying to say, dianthus. Some sedum. This is a this right here is lilac bush. It's going to be in bush form. I think I'll be able to keep it in that pot for another year. This is its first year in that pot, but it looks great. I put some lamian at the bottom just to grow up and around it. This is a peony that I planted this year, so I didn't get any blooms. This is a daylily that I just cut back because it was done blooming. We have all of our irises. We have another coreopsis. We have our bellflowers that I just put in. This right here is our, this blooms in the spring, and it blooms these beautiful white blooms. I'll put the name up. I'll try to remember to go back and edit and put the names up. More bellflowers, more bees balm that I cut back. Yeah, lady's mantle. This grew in so nicely. It was nice and big, but I just recently cut it back so that it can start growing all over again, and that's exactly what it's doing. There's another coreopsis right here. This is another plant. This is the same thing I just said that was over here. And I don't know why I can't think. I'll come back to it, but this is sedum. This is a type of sedum. It's beautiful. These are asters that will be blooming soon. Ugh, more lilies with holes in them, but they're all done, and they had some beautiful, beautiful blooms. More of that salvia right there. This right here is another type of aster that will be growing soon, and that has gotten so big. Yeah, and then this is a lilac bush too. Now this is in a smaller pot, so I think I'm gonna have to move that. These daylilies have been going so strong and doing so well. Like, they are gorgeous too. And they just been blooming away. More lady's mantle, the spirea, the dianthus back there, more daylilies. This is another monarch daisy that I'm thinking about moving. Y'all see the space? It's so, it looks good, but it's big. And if I pull that out, I'll be able to put a lot of more perennials in there, but we'll see. And then the black eye Susie with it, actually, it just looks good too. I don't know. I like it because it's evergreen, meaning like, you know, it stays, even though it doesn't bloom until fall, it stays like this big bush. And that actually looks really, really good together. The hosta blooms, I'm going to be cutting all the hosta blooms out soon. We have our lilies, again, the yellow ones, and then another, I don't know the name of the daylilies. We have a zinnia that I popped in. There's one there. There's another one there. There's some sedum down there. There's that bee balm that I cut back. Over here is more lavender. And I want to cut these off and dry them inside because they smell so good. another rose like the one on the other side, but unlike the one on the other side, that one actually bloomed. Like I had a lot of blooms. These are their first year in the ground, so I'm not worried. But this one didn't bloom, but it did grow a ton. This is another type of salvia, and you see the lamium back there. And then my foxglove, I don't know if you all saw it, but I put this in the ground this year. We know that foxgloves are biannual, so they don't come back every year. But if you leave them to dry out like I did right here, what happens is they drop their seeds on the ground. And because I'm allowing it to drop its seeds, I may get flowers next year. But as you can see, it's also growing back. That's a whole new flower. And then there's a whole new one right here as well. And so if you have foxglove, remember also that it's poisonous. Don't let kids buy it. You don't touch it and then touch your face and do all the things. Don't let your animals buy it, anything. So it's tucked in over there. And so my animals don't go in here. I don't have any little ones. So, that's that. And because I don't want to make this video extremely long, I'm going to do a part 2. And so far we've been on the wall garden. We've been to the hill garden. We've been in the veggie garden, and we've been in the veggie garden where we started part shade and part sun. And so I don't want this video to be extra long, so I'm going to end it right here. And then I'll be able to go over the chicken run garden, and then I'll also be able to go over the shade garden in more detail. So look for part 2. Thank you so much for tuning into my video. Thank you for coming to my channel. Thank you for your support, your likes, your comments. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all stopping by, taking time to watch my garden videos, and I hope you all are enjoying them. I am enjoying doing them. And so have a wonderful day, and God bless.